Hello everyone, you've probably checked this video out because you want to know either how much we spent, or you're curious because you're going to Thailand or Southeast Asia traveling, backpacking. So you wanted to see how much we spent so you can get a point how much you will spend. And that's pretty much what we did before we went on our backpacking trip. We were spending plenty of hours checking through every social media to see how much we should budget up for before our trip. So here's a video from all our expenses that we had during our 1 month stay in Thailand. So we have divided it to 5 chapters. So we have accommodation, we have food and drinks, transportation, activities, and also a category which we call other. That didn't really have a good reason to be in the other categories, I guess.
And we're also going to give you some tips to hold your cost down as much as possible.
Exactly, because trust me, when you're here in Southeast Asia, it can go fast. Because most of the things are really cheap, and that will make you just spend money, and you'll end up probably over your budget if you haven't done the calculation correctly. So make sure to watch the whole video and we will hopefully help you. We have decided also not to take in our international flight from back home to Thailand, and also we did not want to calculate the vaccines or anything because it can be so different depending on which country you're in, where you're flying from. Because if someone is flying from Australia to Thailand, or from Europe to Thailand, or from US, it will be so different. So you'll have to make the calculation by yourself. We're just going to make the calculations how much we spent, our expenses during our stay in Thailand. Like everything we spent during our stay, nothing else.
So let's start with the first category, which is accommodation, and probably the most expensive.
Yes, that will be the most expensive part of your budget, so make sure to have a big budget for that. And also here it depends so much how you're living, which places you choose. So we as backpackers, I would put us in the average mid-range, probably mid-range to low, depending on some places we're staying at. And here you can save a lot of money, because if you choose to stay at villas or some really nice hotels close to the beaches or whatever, you will spend a lot of money. But if you want to go to as backpackers, mid-range to low, you'll have to look through different sites. We used mostly Booking and Airbnb because that's where we found the most deals. And now to how much we spent. So we spent for a month $602, which comes down to $20 per night. And it comes down to $10 per night. So in our opinion, that's really, really good. That's probably something you should aim for if you're going for that kind of traveling, backpacking. So, and some places we lived in really bad conditions. It wasn't like we were living in great conditions. You can check our videos to see how we lived. But $20 is probably a really reasonable price per night. And we'll just add that we slept mostly at hotels or apartments. We never slept in hostels because as a couple didn't really see the reason to go to hostels except the social part, because you lose that if you do not stay in hostels. But we have had social time as well with other people, and actually many places were cheaper. So that's also the reason why we chose to stay in apartments or hotels, because it was cheaper than hostels per person.
So let's move on to the second part, which is food and drink.
Yes, and that was also our second biggest expense during our stay in Thailand. And here you can also save a lot of money, because it depends so much where you choose to eat. If you want to eat at high-end restaurants, if you're going to drink cocktails to every meal, it will get really expensive. So our tip here is, and that's how we did mostly of the time, we actually chose to drink water at the restaurants instead of drinking sodas or beer or whatever, because you can just buy it after in a shop for much cheaper. And also the places you choose to eat at, you always check the menu. usually you can just use Google Maps or whatever, because price can range a lot depending on where you are. So in total, for food and drinks, we spent $576 during 1 month. So that would probably be even more expensive for us to eat back home. So that's really reasonable, I think. But like we mentioned, take in consideration that we chose to share water. Sometimes we even chose to share meals because maybe Alexandra didn't want to eat something, so I ate her food instead. We spent some money on 7-Eleven food, like toast, so that was also like instead of a meal for I don't know how much.
And the most affordable food to eat is the local food.
Exactly.
So when you start eating the Western food, it's get pricey.
It's gonna skyrocket. So just like Alexandra said, in Thailand you will have pad thai, you will have sweet and sour chicken, you will have so much different options with food everywhere. There's so many food places you can find on every corner, everywhere.
So the third part will be transportation.
Yes, and that will be an expensive part as well because you're going to move to different places. Thailand is pretty cheap. We took only one domestic flight from Bangkok to Phuket, and that was really cheap. It was like I think $120 for both of us. So it would be the same amount if we take the bus or whatever. So check the flights. So just to get an idea why we spent so much money on transportation, you have to know which places we were to. So we started our trip in Bangkok. We moved from Bangkok with flight to Phuket. Then we went to Phi Phi Islands, and also we went to Krabi, to Koh Lanta. Then we went to, maybe it's not in the right order, but whatever. Then we also went to Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, and then back to Bangkok. So now you will pretty much know how much we were transporting. Most of the times we're taking the minibus or bus. Sometimes we took the night bus and some ferries. So to book transportation, we'd really recommend you to use One to Go Asia because that's, in our opinion, the easiest way to book. You will have everything in your phone on a PDF. And the amount we spent on transport in Thailand was $508 for both of us. So that's also pretty reasonable, I think. But here you can also save money if you're going to the locals and buying from them, because they have plenty of shops where you can buy your trips. So always bargain respectfully. Do not like bargain too much. Respectfully bargain. And check prices with different operators, because trust me, sometimes the price can be twice or even 3 times more expensive depending on where you book. So make sure to check that out before you book to save money.
The fourth part will be activities.
Yes, and we did a fair amount of activities in Thailand actually. We did some trips with boats.
Snorkeling trips.
We went to massages that we also count as activities. And you have to do that when you're in Thailand because it's really cheap. It's like $10 or even less sometimes to get a massage per person for 1 hour. So make sure to do that. And also here you will have to check with different places before you book, because something that costs, let's say, $40 at one place can cost $15, $20 at a different place. So just make sure to check different places before you book. And the amount we came up to for activities is $219 for both of us. And I don't really feel like we could save more on that part. And we didn't like cheap out on activities. We did plenty of them, I think, which you will see if you check our other videos. And that's the reason why you're going to Thailand as well. You want to see the beautiful places, you want to go snorkel, like otherwise what are you doing in Thailand?
And the last category is what we called other.
Yes, because we didn't really know what to call it or how we should put it. And in other we have like SIM cards, or if we bought something like souvenirs or whatever. Me, for example, I got 2 tank tops and some slippers. Alexandra got some bracelets, and we got some souvenirs. Also, I did a haircut in Thailand, so we did count everything in. And that came up to $58, so not so much. And now for the moment that everyone has been waiting for, the grand total of our spending as a backpacking couple in Thailand for 1 month. We came up to the amount of
$1,966.
Yes, and that's for both of us. So if we calculate that, because we're staying in Thailand for 29 days to be exact, or 29 nights, we're coming up to $67 for both of us, and that will be almost $34 per person for 1 month in Thailand. So our conclusion about our spendings and expenses in Thailand is pretty much what we were looking for when we were doing our budget. So we're really happy with the total amount we spent in Thailand. And you can go cheaper, like you can, but you don't want to lose the quality of your trip at the same time, because you don't want to skip out on activities, you don't want to live in complete trash conditions, and also you have to eat something, so I'm not sure where you...
And try all the different food, because they have amazing food in Thailand, so...
100%, the food there is awesome. So we're really happy with the expenses, and we hope this video will help you a lot before you go to Thailand or another country in Southeast Asia, and we wish you all the best. If you want to know how much we spent during our whole trip, which will be almost 5 months in Southeast Asia, we'll probably upload a video in the future where we'll make sure to have every expense, everything we spent during our trip, including vaccines, documents, flights, everything. So make sure to stay on this channel and you'll get to know more.